Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Dating God's Way. As we get psyched, as we get hyped up for this Tuesday night, I'm going to share and share alike. Oh my goodness, what's going on? I'm having a bad hair day. Let's see. Share, like, and love. Share, like, and love. Michelle in the house. Tara's in the house. Kavante's in the house. Everybody's up in the house. Dating God's Way family. Good to see you. Hey, Pastor E. Hey. Hope you are having a great evening today. All right. All right. So today on Dating God's Way, since last week was so fun and so much a good topic on situationships, we've got some feedback that we should do a part two to situationships. And I was like, wow, like part two, like how much deeper can we go? Well, we can go a lot deeper. And so today we're going to get into it about situationships. Man, y'all please chime in with your questions, with your comments. For some reason, going to when I'm streaming in YouTube, I don't know what's happening. So anyway, like it streams, but people are not getting alerted that YouTube is on. So invite your friends to our YouTube page, Dating God's Way on YouTube. Tell them to go on and like and love our YouTube stream, right? And so we on YouTube every Tuesday night, just like we are here on Facebook Live. So we on our streaming platforms. So yes, please share and share alike. All right. Now that's out the way. So Pastor E, what was your feedback from last week's situationships?
Yeah, a lot of people, as you stated, wanted to get some more information about being in situationships, mainly how to make sure they stay out of them, and what are some more signs maybe to know if you are getting into a situationship or that you could be creating a situationship yourself. So definitely a lot of feedback from people about more information. Give us more information. How can we stay out of these situationships?
Yeah. One of the things I want to talk about tonight with situationships is like after last week, some may have found out, oh wow, like I would hate to say you're a victim, but you may find out, wow, like I'm in a situationship, or hey Tiana, hey Yvette, or you may find out that hey, I'm in a situationship, you know, and so you may not have seen it like that until last week when we started bringing out some of the points of how to what are some of the identifiers. I'll say it like that. What are some of the identifiers that you are in a situationship and not in a committed relationship with that have long-term vision, right? So and so let's Pastor Eve, want ready to get into our presentation on this evening?
Sure.
All right. So I'll bring in our presentation. wrong presentation. There we go. I bring in our presentation. Um, and so tonight we're going to start off with what we was in the middle of last week, exactly the definition of a situationship, right? And the situationship is a space between a committed relationship and something that is more than a friendship. So those things, that situationship, that undefined place in a friendship that you haven't committed yourself together as far as being a couple. um However, it's something more than friendship, right? But it's that weird place between, like, yeah, we really good friends, and we are romantically entangled, but we have no commitment of relationship beyond having that romance. And that romance doesn't have to be sexual. Let me say that,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't all that romance doesn't have to be sexual, but it could be just that place of you know like I said last week. One way to identify it is like if you meet somebody else and you in that place of, I don't know if I should date somebody because I got this situation over here, or what's going on over there. With if ever you have to weigh that balance, I think you're most likely in a situationship. What you think about that, Pastor E?
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. That you definitely, in a situationship, if you have to weigh out, most likely if you have to keep weighing out, what does this mean? What does this mean? But also, I want to deepen it up a little bit tonight. That married people can get in situationships,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? That people who are married can also get in a situationship, in for lots of different reasons. One that I'll start with tonight is that when we see situationship as that space between committed and more than friendship, that even some married couples, one person stops being as committed to the relationship, and they can find themselves in that weird space of situationship. One partner starts to cheat, they start to live like roommates. So situationship can go a lot of different directions, Pastor Will. What you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, when the marriage becomes undefined, right? And that's what we talked about, that middle place of, I mean, yes, you're defined on paper as being marriage,
That's
but
correct.
the relationship isn't operating as a marriage.
That's
It's
correct.
it's operating as an agreement of, this is why we together because of the kids, or this situation because we have a situation together. But it's not a all inclusive marriage. Marriage is two coming one, and the situationship is two staying two. You know, so yeah, roommates. Um, Kimberly Wilcox has entered the room. Hey, girl, y'all funny.
Yeah, to this point, all relationships take intentional attention and engagement. Okay, and so we're talking about single, we're talking about married. If you're going to be in a committed relationship, whether it is, oh, somebody said rent buddies, as it is a marriage or a committed relationship, they all take intentional attention and engagement. Without those two things, even a marriage can become a situationship.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, Kim said we still talk about entanglements. Yes, yes,
We're
and
talking
yes,
about
we are. We still
entanglement.
talk about entanglements.
Yeah. So last week we also we talked on these points, and we can talk about them today. Also, is situationships. One of the telltale signs is having an absence of plans. Oh my goodness! Like, we together, but we have no plans beyond us chilling out together. We have no plans beyond Netflix and chill. You know,
Yeah.
we have plans, we have no future laid out about what the future looks like, and that's why sometimes we see, this is dating God's way, and I believe this is even if you're not dating, I don't agree with pregnancies outside of marriage, right? However, in absence of plans, that's when that pregnancy show up and it's like, oh my gosh, we pregnant. Or oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. What do I do? Because you're in a situationship. Situationship, you can't trust that other person to be there for the long-term haul of that baby, whether you're the mother or the father, because you're in a situationship. You have no plan of being together for any kind of future.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, we see a lot of these things in situationships. I know, we blew some people out the water tonight by talking about how relationships, any relationship can turn into a situationship if it's not met with intentionality and engagement. And so I think that it's really important, as you look at these points, right? The conversations that are superficial. If you're in a committed relationship, because we've been talking a lot about prior to getting into a committed relationship. But even if you are in a committed relationship with someone and you haven't met their family, okay, and all your conversations are superficial or sexual in nature, or there's no talk about what's next, even in a committed relationship, y'all have made a commitment, it still could classify as situationship.
Yeah. Yeah. So OMG, I'm in a situationship.
OMG.
OMG, I'm in this. I just realized that after hearing about this and these conversations, OMG, I'm in a situationship. My hands are like this. My screen is too small. My hands are like this. So,
Woo.
OMG, OMG, oh my goodness. I'm in a situationship. What do you do? Do I get
Yeah.
out? Do I stay in? Do I try to make this situationship a long-term relationship? What do I do? What do we do?
See what the end gonna be?
Do
What
we?
do I do?
Hey, what do we do? Do we try to make something that's where there is nothing? Have you ever tried to do that? Try to make a relationship out of a relationship that really was no relationship? You know,
Yeah, I've been there before. Try to
yeah.
make something up.
Many of us have. You try to that because I'll say this. Sometimes I said this before on other dating God's way, and I probably segue. But sometimes friends are supposed to be friends and nothing more. And I think sometimes we can we tend to move um we tend to move the girlfriend boyfriend thing into the friendship space where the girlfriend boyfriend things isn't supposed to be, right? And what happens, I think, is that we mess up good friendships trying to force a boyfriend girlfriend thing. And
Yeah.
shout out to the pastor with the boyfriend girlfriend thing. Video
Oh my gosh. How
plays
many people on here was
that
just born when that came out, Pastor William?
that was out when I was in high school, and he was
Right. People
showing
was
all
just
the high
born
school
on here.
about
Yeah.
the boyfriend girlfriend thing. Yeah,
Yeah. So sometimes the answer is we should have just stayed friends. Right? Sometimes that is the answer. We should have just stayed friends. But
yeah.
people try to make something out of nothing. And we have a question in this segment. Would you like to take the question now, Pastor Will?
Let's take it now. Put it up on the board.
So can unintentional situationships get fixed?
Wow.
Can unintentional situationships get fixed? I think
Wow.
this is a great question.
I think this is
When you find out, oh my gosh, I'm in a situationship. I
yeah.
think that, one of the foundations to fixing a situationship is commitment, right? Both people have to be committed, not just to the relationship, but to the intentionality and the engagement of the relationship, right? Like both people have to be committed to something greater than situations. In other words, both people got to be willing to go beyond just sex, just kids, just house and car, just a piece of paper. Like both people have to be willing to go beyond situations, right? So it can be fixed, but it's going to take the commitment of both people to go beyond the situations that we share. Okay? Because we're in this relationship because we share a situation, right? Whether it was a continual situation, a one time situation, we shared some type of situation. That's how we got to this intentionality. But now, in order to fix it, we both have to commit to the intentionality.
Yeah, a lot of friendships and relationships, they happen out of, I'll say it like this, they happen out of accidental um, character traits that come together and we just mix. And the intentionality comes from is taking those accidental character traits and putting some purpose behind them, right? Putting some purpose behind that those characters, and putting the demand on those character traits so that at one time where you laughed at all his or her jokes, now you don't find them funny, right? And but the intentionality behind a relationship is finding the humor again, right? Intentionally finding the humor, intentionally finding the place to like and to love this person, even though you came to know that person unintentionally. Did I say that
Yeah,
clear?
that's right. Yeah, you guys said familiar spirits. Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, yeah, we got another question. Can
Yeah.
the fix be an honest conversation and an agreement to fall back and only be friends? Absolutely. That, one fix is going in the direction of commitment, but the other fix is to fall back and say, look, we went too fast. We went in the wrong direction. Actually, we're not even meant for each other. We just need to be friends.
I'll be honest with you though, Angel. That place hurts to fall back to just friends. I mean, for me personally, like I'd rather just cut it off
That's a
because
man. Just FYI, Angel, that is a man response. Women, we like, oh, let's fall back and be friends. The man would rather cut it off. I've seen it several times.
yeah, I mean to have my heart all the way in it like it was or like it is, and now to be like your heart, I can't be there. I can't be over your house all the time. You can't be over my house all the time because we were in this situationship, that we can't be together all the time. So all of a sudden now I'm back as friends, and I got to watch you be with somebody else, right? That stings, and it's almost to me, it's almost just bite the bullet for a man, like Pastor E said, for a man to bite the bullet and dissolve the relationship until it come back around again, where we could um, start from a place of repair and really start a relationship.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real frank with you ladies tonight. The men ain't gonna like it, but I'm be real frank tonight. Man ego is too fragile for you to be like, nah, we gonna fall back, but we still gonna be. No, their ego cannot handle it. Men ain't set up that way. They got too much pride with them to handle that type of situation. For a woman, she's like, it's gonna be all right. We can just be friends. For a man, that is too hard of a pill to swallow.
A man is possessive, but I don't want to say this because I don't want to give anywhere any space for abuse. Don't want to give no space for abuse. But a man is kind of possessive. We're not anybody's properties but God. Hear me out, right? However, like a man will feel like once, I mean, if I got you, I got you. And if I don't have you no more, then I'd rather not see you with anybody else. Not until my situation is shored up and I got somebody first.
But see, the problem, Pastor Will, with that scenario is the man doesn't could be the person that's furthering the situationship, but wants the woman to commit because there's a lack of emotional maturity. Okay, so this is what
Absolutely.
becomes the problem, that men sometimes lack the emotional maturity and or intelligence to
Yeah,
handle that part of the relationship, which we're going to talk
absolutely.
about in a minute when we get into our next slide. We're going to get into that emotional maturity that sometimes does not get developed until that man has been in a relationship with a emotionally mature woman, or they got to mature together.
But I think this is where these conversations need to be had so we can measure what's the emotional stability of both parties.
Yeah.
Because I need to know this up front, even before situationship. You know,
Yeah.
I, I need to know how you handled your last breakup, even if we just friends. I need to know how you handle your friendships, period.
This is it though, Pastor Will, because this is what I'm gonna get into, because this is one of our slides to talk about tonight. See, guys want to get into how did you handle this? How did you do this? How did you do that? Men want to get into that, right? But the reality is that how I handle something in my past, or how things went or whatever, that's based on me and my maturity, right? And so it's like that part has to also be then, if you want to ask those type of questions, you also got to step up to that maturity. That's what I'm saying. If a man gonna expect a certain level of maturity from a woman, they also have to be able to provide that same level of maturity that they're requesting.
Well, I said both parties. I
Yeah.
didn't leave it at one party. I said both
Yeah.
parties. I said both parties have to be before y'all be child mom. Come on, yes, 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 and all that.
That's
But
correct, because the men in these scenarios often don't step up, Pastor Will. I'm just gonna give it tonight a little bit. They don't step up in these areas, but they expect to step up.
do women step up in these areas, or do they just allow these things to keep going? Because hey, I mean
Both,
they have a man around.
both ends, yeah. Sometimes for attention's sake, women allow foolery. Absolutely. It's a both and situation we're talking about. The woman allowing the foolery, right? And the man needed some, step upness in the emotional area. I think it's a both and.
Right. So, you know, so it's both are allowing this situationship to evolve and to keep going and really never coming to the end of the relationship until something drastic happens, if something drastic happens at all. Because as we know, as we've heard of situationships that have gone on for 9 and 10 and 15 years.
I mean,
and
which
and,
kind of takes us to our next question,
and,
Pastor Will.
sometimes, and sometimes 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, 25, 30 years, crazy stuff. So what if you've been released from a situation, but it keeps following you? How do you not emotionally detach, but spiritually detach from the soul tie of situationships that are not good? So they just won't go away. What's the answer? They just won't go away. It just keep on keeping on.
I don't I understand the question, but I don't understand the question. So are we saying we have a stalker?
I think that, one way to describe this is like the pop up person. Like every time you start moving on with your life, they pop up. Every time, you moving on, they pop up. They, whatever. They just keep on finding ways to show up, right? Soon as you start moving on, soon as you get your life together, everything, here they come knocking at your door. Hey, I want to reconnect again, all these different things. And I think the answer to this is, one of the ways, of course, like the spiritual detachment definitely has to happen from a soul tie perspective. If you share the situation with this person, whether it be sex, babies, whatever, there has to be that spiritual detachment, so soul tie wise. But beyond that, there also has to be a direct communication, right? Like you can't just keep coming back on the pop up, right? The pop up don't work, right? So you can't just keep coming popping up whenever you get feel like it. Like we need to have some parameters even around our friendship, right? You've been gone 10 months, now you coming back as soon as I get with somebody else. That shows you that that's a sign that that friend or that person may not have the respect that is needed, and they might need to get a check. What you think, Pastor Will?
I think stop responding. I think Stalker gonna catch these hands. But I say stop responding. Stop answering every text.
That's true.
Stop answering every phone call. Um, don't stop letting him in every time he show up at the door. Have him talk outside the door in 30-degree weather.
Well, not at all. Don't answer your door.
Don't answer your door. You know, so how you stop it from following you is that you stop responding to it. Stop responding to it.
Yeah, the block button works. You can just get the blocking. That's it. Everywhere.
That's it.
Block it on that. That's it. Block the people. Right? I mean, like at the end of the day, if you moved on, move on. And sometimes we don't move on because we haven't moved on.
That's it. Because we haven't moved on.
We still giving attention to that attention because we're wondering if it coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda, butta. But at the end of the day, if that person wants to keep you tied to situations in a situationship, you gotta be woman enough, man enough to say, gotta let it go.
So you like when they pop. This is why I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say this, that if you owe any debt to anybody, if you got $100 from him or her, pay that $100 back.
Yeah.
Good riddance, right? So that person won't keep popping up, for using money or using whatever it is, the debt, as a reason for you to open the door.
You still got my shirt. Go ahead and mail it back to him.
Exactly.
Oh, you still got my hat. Oh, mail it back to her. That's it. You got some of this? Look them up. It's real easy to get on the white page. It's still online. Find somebody. Mail it to their address. Boom.
Oh, I brought you them shoes. Well, go barefoot.
Yeah, give me shoes back. Look, at the end of the day, be free.
That's it. That's it. So that's how you detach. You detach. You detach.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Go ahead.
So why not commit to the relationship? Why people don't like to commit? Now, I'm gonna just start off by saying when we're talking about this, just like I said, tonight I want to go hard tonight. I want to talk about single, I want to talk about married. Some people not committing to these relationships, y'all. Okay, because I know we just want to talk about the single people and all this, but it's some married people that's not committing to the relationship out here. Yeah. Why not commit to the relationship? So what's our 4 areas, Pastor Will?
So why am I not committed to the relationship? Or why not commit to the relationship?
Right,
why? Sometimes my emotions are too fragile to commit to the relationship. Or I have a fear of commitment, or my prior experience deemed that why not to commit, or I'm just unsettled. I don't want to settle down.
Yeah, I want to get into it. I want to get into the details of these tonight, because that one of these things we're talking about is sometimes some people have like commitment phobia. Okay, we're gonna bring this one back up, but go to our next one right quick, Pastor Will. Commitment phobia.
Commitment phobia.
Commitment phobia. Okay, how can you tell if the person that you're in a committed relationship with? And I went way hard tonight. I just said girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, everybody tonight. One of the ways that you tell if the person has commitment phobia is their past their past relationships are short and very non-committal, right? For example, if you about to date somebody and you see they've been married 3 times for 3 months, okay, now wait a minute, okay, they've been divorced 8 times, they've been divorced 5 times, they got 20 different baby mothers. All of these things are probably signs that there is some commitment issues that are there, okay? Another thing that you can look at with this non-committal is they are not willing to commit to dates or nights out weeks in advance. Okay, they want to go pop up every other day. Can we do this? Can we do that? Instead of dealing with the reality of you not willing to commit. Okay, you're not willing to commit. Oh, that is hilarious, Kim. You're not willing to commit. Okay, weeks out in advance. Let's plan something weeks out. Why we got to do everything every day? You calling me the day of? I got stuff to do. I got a life. Okay. Number three, they're not letting you know whether they're attending your party. Okay, and they know 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, you having a party. They'll let you know. Well, why they gotta let you know? We already we already supposed to be committed. Okay, so these are some things that let you know that person has commitment issues. And you can test some of these things out at any stage. Number four, they use a lot of modifiers, okay? Modifiers when speaking. What's the modifiers, y'all? Okay, modifier. Me and Kayla was just actually doing these today. 11th grade English, okay? But they use a lot of modifiers to, well, I would, but I could, but, this could, but I don't know if I can, but, they use a lot of modifiers to, why they can't be specific. Okay, but they can't be specific. Either over exaggerating and or they can't ever be specific. They use a lot of modifiers when they speak. Listen for these things. Number five, they sexually active, probably promiscuous. I got a whole lot of this, that, and the other. This, her, him, that, whoever. That is another commitment phobia. People with commitment phobia find themselves in a lot of different sexual activity, a lot of different booty calls, a lot of different late night bling bling call. Okay, we can see that. Number five. Okay, number six, most of their relationships are undefined. Okay, now I'm about to go deep here. They're not just with their, so-called friends, whatever, but even with their family. Okay, they still got unresolved issues from, 30 years ago. It's undefined. Okay, that is one sign that person may have commitment phobia, commitment issues. They don't like to say the L word. What's the L word tonight? Love. Okay, they can't say I love you, this and the other. I just don't really like, doing that or whatever. You know how I feel about you. You know how we are. All of those things as signs of commitment phobia. Don't use the term boyfriend and girlfriend. We don't have to have any definition. We don't have to have definition to our relate. I don't like labels. All of these are signs, okay, of commitment phobia. I don't like labels is another word for I'm not ready to commit. Okay? They don't have a whole lot of close friends. They don't have anybody that they really have developed friendships with, and they're very unpredictable. Okay, these are some signs. You can't tell from this day to that day. Oh yeah, I need to be. I need to be down for the next 5 days. They just start tripping out. Unpredictable. All of these are some areas where you can see that that person may have some commitment phobia. Yes, yes, and yes. So these are some things to look for, and you looking at your relationships, and you like, what be going on? It seems like you got a lot of stuff going on. They may have an issue with commitment, period. Okay? And when you start to see these things, you don't just overlook them. We need to have a discussion. And I may need to make an adjustment.
Yeah, I consider it like a commitment disorder. A commitment disorder. It's just their view on commitment is negative. Their view on commitment doesn't have a lot of positivity attached to it. their view of commitment means somehow means them being a victim of harm done by commitment.
Yeah, for example, because when I was growing up, one thing I said, I saw my mother be abused by my father, or,
Yeah.
when I was growing up, my father never cared for me, or my mother, she always did this or that or whatever. Some of those, yes, as Eva said, rejection does absolutely have something to do with rejection, abandonment, yes, yes, and yes, but also their references of commitment issues, references of things in their past or relationships that they've seen that, as Pastor Willie says, bring on this commitment and not commitment syndrome, commitment phobia, whatever we're calling it tonight, all of it can be brought on by these references that they have. Yes.
Yeah. 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 So
Yeah.
commitment
So commitment
phobias.
issues.
So, Pastor, I saw some people chime in with some questions, even in our segments here. Do you want to go or you want to keep moving?
Oh, I see another one. I didn't see that one. Okay, let's get it. So, what if your prior experiences was bad, but you're ready to move on and commit to a new relationship? I think it's kind of what we're talking about right now about commitment phobia. Is that not allowing, and that we're about to actually go to the next slide, Pastor Will. We're about to actually get into your question in a deeper way because prior experiences should not be a reference, which is point number 2 on the X factor. The prior references should not be a reason to make a relationship decision, either going forward or not doing it at all. Okay? A prior experience should never be a factor in going into a relationship or not going into one. Okay? Because that is what we call the X factor. Okay? The X factor. So, what is the X factor? The X factor is when I have comparisons of what my ex was like, what happened with my ex, all these different things. These are things that keep people in non-commitment and situationships, right? That
Yeah.
all these comparisons about exes and all these things like that, all these references of what happened in my last relationship, leaving the door open to the ex, all of these things, the X factor plays a big part of how people stay in and create situationships. What you think about that, Pastor William?
Yeah, the X factor is big, especially if they were in that X situation for a period of years, and they lost their um, love, whether it was real love or infatuation. You know, um, those having comparing this relationship to the next relationship or trying not to have this relationship because I'm emotionally fragile now from my last relationship. I really can't carry on a committed relationship. So I just stay in I create situationships, because my last committed era, my commitment era, it failed. And so you kind of have this space now that well I'm gonna compare this to that. I'm gonna reference her with you, or I'm gonna reference him with you, and I'm also leaving the door open for them to come back. That's why I can't commit over here because I'm leaving the door open because I liked it back there so much, but they moved on, but I haven't moved on.
Yeah, haven't moved on in my heart. Not in the sometimes not even with the person because the person is long gone. But
Yeah,
we're talking about having moved on in my mind and my heart because as Pastor Will said, that commitment error that I made, I continue to rehearse those past failures. You know, what happened? Why did this happen? Things was going well. What could I have done differently? All these different things. Just rehearsing, rehearsing, rehearsing. And sometimes that can really be a toxic bring forth a toxic situation with the new person that you want to be with. Because now they have to deal with your X factor. Right? They're looking forward to getting into something new, and now you done brought a third party in. Okay? Situationship. That's what
Situation.
it's created. It's created a situationship because it's supposed to be two of us. Now it's three. Now three people are involved in our supposedly relationship that just turned into a situationship. Because the
Yeah.
ex, he here too, she here too. Okay? Get crazy.
Yeah. Now, at this point, you're not even in an entanglement. You just tangled.
Oh, so it's all tangled up, okay? All tangled up. So we got to get rid of the X factor. We got to get rid of the X factor. Yes, 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 yes. The last one, I think it's probably my favorite one. Here we go. Emotional instability. This is one reason why people stay in situationships, okay? And I'm gonna say this right now, y'all, that and this is why situationships is for any type of relationship. Single, married, all the people. Because emotional instability is a place that really starts some situations that shouldn't be on. Okay? So what's the emotional instability? Always starting arguments.
Yeah.
Like we can't even get along because you always start something. Okay?
I saw this. I saw this movie. I'm sure y'all saw it. I saw it because of somebody on Netflix was like this movie. I'm almost scared to admit what it was. But they just argued through the whole
Do the whole movie, y'all. I
movie.
didn't watch it. It's in black and white. It's on Netflix. It's a hot mess. They just argued the whole movie, y'all.
and I know it's just a movie, but for Valentine's for February's Day, for Valentine's Day, Pastor E and I we went to a local hotel, and in the room next door they argued all night. They literally, I literally heard the Netflix movie on the other in real life on the other side of the wall. They argued and played music until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Emotional instability. Emotional instability. We got a question, Pastor Will. What if every time you talk to someone, you bring up your ex, but it's not intentional? Is there a way to stop doing that? Yes, there is a way.
Oh my goodness. Stop doing that.
Yes. Is there a way to stop doing that? Yes. Move on in your heart. That is the answer. Your heart is still tied to the past place, past person, past relationship. Move on in your heart. It's over. They did it. You did it. He did it. She did it. Don't make a difference. It didn't happen. Move on.
You had a life before them, and you have a life after them. Let them go
Yes. In your heart.
in your heart.
In your heart. From the heart place. Let it go.
But that's where we talk. But I know, Pastor E, some people don't ascribe to soul ties. I do. I believe there are soul ties. And this is one of the areas of soul ties there is that you're so tied with that person in the soulless realm, it's hard to let them go.
That's correct. That's when deliverance is necessary, child. Now I know a lot. Some people on here might not know about deliverance, might not believe in it, but deliverance is necessary when something got a hold of you and you can't let go.
Yeah.
You want to let go, but you can't. Some spiritual deliverance is needed.
Spiritual deliverance is needed. Let it go.
Let it go.
Like
Let
another
it
little
go.
TKO.
Can't hold me back anymore. Okay. Got a
Okay.
little frozen going on. That's like you're frozen. You're stuck in it. Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Okay. The
So,
next one, emotional instability, comes from pain of past rejection. Okay.
yeah.
Oh yeah, this person they rejected me. Women always rejecting me. Men always doing this in a relationship. They always cheating. All these things brings about emotional instability. All those conversations that a person having in their mind about what could happen, how it happened, what it did before. All those things bring about emotional instability, y'all.
You know,
Yeah,
I,
daddy issue,
I,
mommy issue, all of it. Emotional instability.
I remember this emotional unstable place of pain of past rejection, and that in my dating season, I got to a point I was just like, I didn't have the verbiage to say situationships, but I was ready for that. I was like, forget trying to find a long term relationship. I'm just going to situationships, and I'm just mess lives up because my life is messed up because I was in pain from rejection. So where my relationships failed, I was just ready to be a bull in a china cabinet and just let every relationship fall down.
Yeah, which leads to number three, unhappy, so doesn't want you to be happy. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what emotional instability brings, right? It brings a place where I'm unhappy, and now people that I'm in relationship with also become unhappy because I make everybody unhappy. I'm just so, intolerable. I'm so emotionally unstable that that's what emotionally instability does. And so those types of things is why healing is definitely needed. But also you got to be, when you see these signs, you got to be straight up. Look, you will need some counseling before we can even get past this friendship stage. This is it. Okay,
Yeah,
we gotta go further than this, and we don't, if you don't get some of this work done. Okay, go therapy, counseling, go to the people because there's too much emotional instability. We can't build on this. We can't get to commitment when there's emotional instability. It's very hard to get to commitment and stay committed when there is so much emotional instability.
yeah, yeah. I mean, some people, because of their state of unhappiness, because of their state of unhappiness, they don't know how to be happy.
Yeah,
They don't even conceive the state. I'll say the states of happiness. What's the point? What's the use? And so when they get into these relationships or in entanglements, their whole thing is live like I live, even though you weren't built like that. And they have you doing the things that they do because they are in a state of unhappiness and they don't know how to live, or they don't even recognize how to live and the benefits of living from a state of happiness.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So this one, they have everybody cheating. They have everybody cheating on their boyfriend or girlfriend. They hanging out and they looking at, oh, go talk to him, or oh, go talk to her. Whatever. They encourage these things that has brought them sorrow.
yeah. Paranoia. So you got to be cheating. I know you've been cheating. I know you want to cheat. I know you couldn't love nobody like me. I know you want to be with somebody else. All of those are signs of emotional instability, guys. Okay, so used to that dysfunction that when everything all right and normal, it don't even feel right. Now you making up stuff. Oh yeah, I knew you was talking to somebody else. Oh, you really don't want to be with me. You want to be with somebody else. All of those are signs of emotional instability. The
Yeah,
last one, unable to connect beyond the surface. Okay, you're not able to go deep into conversation, go beyond, really communicate feelings, really communicate what's happening with you, what's going on. Hey Shalada,
hey,
not
Shavia.
able to communicate beyond, I just know that I don't feel like it today. I just know that, I just know that, but you're not able to go beyond that and say, like, look, I got some things going on with me, and I'm going to take a moment to get that together, but then I'm going to come back so we can talk. That's where emotional stability come in at,
Yeah,
going beyond the surface level and being able to talk beyond that. And you see that in relationships, you often have this emotional instability when one person doesn't do the work to emotionally mature. Okay, doesn't do the work to deal with past rejection, to deal with being unhappy, to deal with all of their insecurities, so they're not always starting arguments.
So like, so one of the ways that as men, one of the ways that we mask this as not being unable to connect beyond surface, because we'll tell you that this isn't true, but we'll say stuff like, man, bump all that soft stuff. Who want to talk about that soft stuff? Well, you got to be hard. You got to be this. What you crying for? You got to be this. You got to be that, because we really don't want to get deep into the things that really makes us vulnerable. And so we stay surface.
Yeah.
And when we stay surface, we promote situationships.
That's correct. Because now it's too afraid to go deeper with somebody and really get that friendship, relationship, commitment that you really desire. So, without question, I said we got another question here that, if you're looking to be in a relationship, but you don't know how to communicate it to the other person, or you're worried about what the person is going to say, what other people want to say about it, what if you get rejected? I think that's I think that's a huge point, Pastor Will, that, if you're looking to get in a relationship, I think it's good to communicate, to the person that you are friending, that, you desire to see where things are going to go. That, you want to be friends and you want to see, what more can be revealed. I think that's a healthy place to start the conversation at. That, I want to be friends, but I want to be friends with an eye towards what else can happen. I'm open to the possibility, and I want to, be friends and really connect with you. So I think that's that has to be that first part of vulnerability, in order to, start something like that. What do you think, Pastor Will?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the last part of his question is like, what if you get rejected?
Yeah.
And it's sad to say, but it's the reality that rejection is just part of it. You know, and there are some ways to teaching others love. Absolutely, Charlita. But I think that there is some ways to ease the rejection. Um, like, we talked earlier, me and Pastor E and I talked about it, about how we had a conversation about marriage before I proposed marriage, right? I had a conversation about, will you marry me, before I asked her to marry me, you know? So I think there are ways where you can test the water without getting outright rejected, and leaving with your heart in your hands.
Yeah, some questions, some conversations that you can have that lead up to it. That, that lead up, that open the door some before you open the door all the way. Absolutely. I think that's definitely a way to approach it, to start to open the door some, start to have those conversations, and then allow it to you, so you know what the answer is before you ask the question.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think
And
that's yeah, great.
sometimes send the agent, send somebody else. uh, yeah, get rejected via proxy.
Yeah, test the water, test the water. See first. Have some conversations, see if we vibing first. That's good. All those things. All those things
Yeah.
is a good way to move forward. So yeah, going back to our slide tonight with the four things on it, about, why not commit. And, we went deep into these four things, but just reminder that, if emotional fragility, fear of commitment, prior relationships and experiences, just being unsettled, if all of these things are keeping you from commitment, right? It is definitely encouragement tonight to deal with these things so you don't end up in situationships and putting other people in situationships, right? You got to deal with these things so that you don't bring yourself into a situationship, or you don't keep creating them. You don't keep creating these types of, situationships. So I think, yeah, that's this. This is a big key. Is watching the signs for this. In others that you connect with, and also in ourselves.
And also watch for these signs, not only, as we say every week, not only from others, but watch for these signs in you,
In yourself.
in yourself. Are you this person in this relationship that's offering that have these signs, or that's exhibiting these signs, um, and you don't want to admit it, that, you know what, I'm really not all that into you.
Yeah, always friend zoning people.
Yeah.
You don't even know if it could have been or couldn't have been because you always friend zoning somebody.
Always friend zoning.
Commitment issues. For real.
For real.
Commitment issues and/or the relationship never work out. I don't know why the relationship don't keep not working out. I don't know why. You know why? It's one of these four things on here. If you already in a committed relationship but they keep not working, it's one of these four things on this list.
Yeah. One of these four things.
Be tripping. Okay. We gotta know we be tripping. Cause sometimes we be tripping. We gotta know why we be tripping as well. Not just that we be tripping, but why. Do I have emotional issues, commitment issues, ex issues,
I mean,
mental issues?
you know, you always, for females, they run into these situations like, oh, he not this and he not that, or they not this and they not that. And sometimes it come down to these really four things. Like, it's not about that what you're looking for. It's really about something in you that's not allowing you to discover a committed relationship.
Yes. So I hope that not only tonight, for discovery's sake, but also for commitment's sake, y'all. Look, we want marriages to make it. We want people to make it to marriage, make it to engagement, like make it somewhere, y'all. Black people, okay? I'm gonna just get real cultural for a minute.
Yes.
Black people, we need y'all to get healed and make it somewhere. We tired of being statistics. Y'all
Yeah.
heard me tonight. Pastor E said the word tonight. Black people stop being statistics. Get rid of these commitment issues, these situationship issues, and get yourself in a commitment to somebody. No more statistics and stuff. Let's come on up from this.
Yeah. 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 That's all I can say is yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
ready for y'all to win in some relationships. Come on, 20 years. Come on, 30 years. Come on, 40 years. We ready for black people to come on and win. Win in these relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, go sit on that couch, go to counseling, go to therapy, get healed. Come on, so you can be in a committed relationship with your family, with your spouse, with your kids, because kids also get the brunt of these situationships. You're not even whole enough to be a parent. Okay, you're not whole enough to be a mother, a father. So this is not just for the family nucleus, that's the wife and the husband, but also the kids. Okay, we get this stuff right. We build strong families, you guys.
Yes.
That's
So
what
yeah.
I guys will. Black people, get it together. I need my race to be winning. Winning. I want to see some 20 year, 30 year, 40 year people getting divorced after 18 years, 20 years. Come on, stop with this stuff. Get yourself together.
Amen. Amen. I didn't know Malcolm X was entering the building tonight. Amen. So
Sick of it.
it's absolutely right. Black people, we need to get it together, and we need to get married again. We need to get married again. We need to raise families again. That's how we went. That's how we went.
Yes, forgive, grow, move on. Come on up, y'all. And yes. Me and Pastor Willie been married with this 20 years.
Yeah.
Over 20 years. Look, get it together, stay together, be together. Let's get it.
We're
Yes.
still forgiving. We're still growing, and we're still moving on.
Moving on. That's right. We're not getting no divorces. Write it in there. I see that. Not getting divorced. That's right. We're
Divorce.
going to be healthy. We're going to have some healthy black marriages. That's right, dating God's way.
Yeah. 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 Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us tonight.
Joining.
We enjoyed the conversation. We see you guys next week. And Charlita, I'm a queue up that topic about love languages. Love language is so important in relationships, because we all have different backgrounds
Yeah.
of how we learn love.
Because you
And
know
so,
what it's about, Pastor Will. It is about learning love, right?
yeah,
How to speak the language of love. That's
yeah,
what it's really about.
that's what it's really about. So, boom, boom, boom. Thank you guys for joining, and we will see you next week. And we out. Blessings.